So we are starting laying on our rollers lengthwise. And if you're tall like me, you want to be towards the bottom half of the roller so that your head could rest on the roller. And just take a moment here and roll a little side to side. And just see how that feels in your back. Should feel kind of good. In fact, I could do this for like an hour. And then come center and let's do a couple pelvic tilts. So feel your lower back pressing into the roller and then releasing. As you exhale, lengthen it out. As you inhale, release. With every breath, lengthen a little more, release a little more. All the while making sure it's a natural movement. So as you're moving that pelvis, you'll notice how it affects other parts of your body. And then find that neutral spine and lift both arms up to the sky and bring one arm behind you at a time. So it really doesn't matter which way your hands face. They could be facing towards each other. They can be facing towards your knees. Whatever works for you. You could do both together. You could even go all the way down by the hips as you alternate the arms one at a time or both together. Think about exhaling as you go back. And just see how it feels in that whole shoulder area. And then let your arms reach to the sky and hug the shoulders around the roller and then reach them away. So we're just getting into the movement of the shoulder blades. And you could actually really feel it because you're on that roller. And same thing, you can play around with the hand placement. And then bring the hands down by your hips and see if you can let the shoulder blades just relax. Find your balance and lift your right leg up into tabletop and bring it down. Lift your left leg up into tabletop and bring it down and continue alternating one leg at a time. And just a reminder that we're recording, so if you need to mute yourself, this would be a good time to do it. Just as we alternate one leg up at a time. So we'll do a few more. Good, that looks good. And then the next time one leg comes up, keep it there. And all I want you to do is just tap that leg up and down. Bring it down and lift the other leg up into tabletop and tap that leg up and down. Now, if you feel pretty secure here, lift both legs up into tabletop and stay here and notice what a challenge it is to balance here. And then tap one leg down at a time. Using your breath. And notice, is there any time where you feel, a good example would be if you feel like you're pushing your belly out, can you reset and make sure that we're in a good neutral position and find yourself back up. And if it doesn't feel good, just start from the floor as opposed to starting from above. And then bring both feet down. Walk your feet to the wider edges of the mat and let your knees reach towards each other and away. Taking your time internally and externally, opening from the hip bone. And then come back center and lift your right arm up to the sky. Lift your left leg up, and as your left leg comes down, bring your right arm back. Let's just do 4 like that. And come down and switch. Lift your right leg up, lift your left arm up, and bring the arm and leg up and down. and then bring it down. Lift that left leg up again, right arm up. This time, open your left leg to the side as you open your right arm out to the side. Left leg goes left, right arm goes right, maintaining a balance on the roller. You don't have to go far, so find you're in and out about 4 inches. So we're going out and in, that's it, perfect. And then you could bring the arm and leg down, lift your right leg up, left arm up, and open and close that side. So my right leg's going right, my left arm's going left. If this is too much on the roller, you could do it on the floor. And bring both down. And then just go ahead and roll completely off the roller and set that roller under your neck. And then from here, just roll your head side to side. So I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. The size of the roller does matter. I have a smaller roller and it's a little nicer under the neck. The bigger rollers are a little tougher to work with, but you'll still get a benefit there. And maybe one side's tighter than the other. So the request today was neck and shoulders, but we're going to throw in full body as well. And then release the roller from your head and set it aside for now. From here, reach those arms up again and do that same thing you did on the roller. Just reach away and plug in. So you're reaching your fingertips to the sky together and then plugging the shoulder blades down. So just getting the feeling of what's happening in your back. As you plug your shoulder blades down, bring both arms back and bring both arms down by your hips. This time we're going to exhale and lift it to a bridge. So let's take our time here and bring your hands down and just lift your hips up a little bit at a time. Coming up and then peeling down. So as you do this, see if it feels okay where your feet are placed. Maybe you need to walk your feet a little further out from your body and see what happens, how your body's affected when your feet are a little further away as you come up and down. Or maybe bring them closer in and see what happens. Working on lengthening the spine. And when you get those hips up, making sure that your hips are higher than your ribs. It should be one long line and then come back down. So what I see a lot of rib flaring. So when people are up here, I see this kind of feeling. Can you let the ribs relax as you lift the hips up? Come back down again. So this should be a mix of work and therapeutic. The next time you come up, stay there and notice, are your knees going out to the sides? Can you draw them in a little, or vice versa? Keeping your gaze where the wall meets the ceiling, see if you can lift up those hips a little higher, keeping a nice length in the body. And from here, if it's okay for you, lift your right leg up into tabletop and tap that foot down 4 times. Bring that foot down, lift your hips up again if you let them drop. Lift your left leg up into tabletop and bring it up and down 4 times. Bring that leg down, hips up again, and slowly peel your spine all the way down to the mat. Keeping your legs together, just let both legs drop a little side to side. That should feel kind of good, I hope. If you feel good here, bring your legs back into tabletop and come side to side in this position. As you do this, can you keep your knees stacked? Maybe when you go to one side, let the leg on top extend, come in and switch. Maybe do both legs. Maybe keep them extended as you go side to side. and then come center, bend both knees, place them down to the floor, and reach your arms up again. From here, bring your hands behind your head and lift your elbows. And as you exhale, press your ribs into the mat and let your head rest into your hands, and just see if you can feel a release in the back of your neck. Maybe press down a little more and let your head rest a little more. Then come back down. Exhale and lift. Let your head rest into your hands. Shoulders are away from your ears. And then come back down. Exhale, lift. Head rest into the hands. Can you find that feeling that you're not using your neck, you're using your abs as you bring your hands over to your hamstrings? Lift a little higher, and hopefully nothing is in the back of the neck. Hands back behind your head and roll back down. Exhale, lift. Hands behind your hamstrings. Lift a little higher. Hands behind the head. Roll back down. Exhale, lift. Hands behind the hamstrings. Lift a little higher. Hands behind the head. Roll back down. Exhale, lift. Hands behind the hamstrings. Lift a little higher. Hands behind the head. Roll back down. And then relax. Hopefully your necks are okay here. And let's just remember to feel them flattening out underneath you. Walk your legs to the wider edges of the mat. Arms out to the sides as you windshield wiper your legs side to side. So now we're getting into our hips. A little bit into the psoas. Just get that stretch. And come back center, walk the legs in, and we're going to bring our legs back up into tabletop, hands behind your hamstrings again. This time, nod your head a little, poke your toes to the wall in front of you to slowly roll all the way up to sitting. From here, we're going to come to our hands and knees, and we're going to work on cats and cows. So if being on your knees is not awesome for you, a good option would be to do this on your back and go back to pelvic tilts. But for now, let's see if we can just find our cat and cow. So with every exhale, you're in cat pose, and work on pulling from the lower back. And then as you inhale, aim your chest to the floor for cow. Taking your time, every exhale is one pose, inhale is another with every breath. So you can do more of these if you like on your own, but for right now, I want to work back into the shoulders and the neck. So walk your hands to the right side of the mat and maybe walk them up a little higher. Your legs are together in the center of the mat, and send both hips to the back left corner. Let your head relax, and hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch in the left side of your body. The same thing, you can stay here as long as you like. We're going to come up and switch sides. So both hands are upper left, both hips are lower right. And notice, does one side seem to need this more than the other? And come back center. Walk your hands back to right under your shoulder blades. And we're going to actually come all the way down to our mats into a plank position, or actually just a prone position. So you're laying on your belly. So what I want you to watch out for here is a lot of times we pull into that lower back. So feel those hip bones anchored into the mat and feel your lower back reaching to the sky. Think of your arms are like the Sphinx, and think of pulling your arms towards your body. As again, you're pulling that lower back to the sky, which would naturally tell your muscles what they need to do. So from here, lift your right leg up as if you're curling your knee around an egg, and kick it twice and extend. And do the same thing with your left leg. Double, double, extend. So it's like a little beat as you extend it, and you're really activating into the hamstrings. You're still activating your back. We're sneakily working to keep those shoulder blades down. Your head and neck is looking where your chest is shining. Just a couple more here. Kick, kick, extend and down. Kick, kick, extend and down. Just a couple more. If you feel your lower back, it means you let your back drop. And relax all the way down to the mat. Hands under your armpits. Roll your shoulder blades towards your feet. Lift your hands off the mat and then lift your chest off the mat. Bring your hands back down, and if you're good here, stay here. If you'd like, see if you can come a little higher and then come back down. Let's do that one more time. Lift the hands off the mat, lift the chest off the mat, and if you'd like, you can add the hands and lift a little higher and then come back down. We're gonna lay with our heads on the mat, and your arms are like a goalpost. So your forehead is resting on the mat. And just take a moment and notice if you let your back drop into the mat. Can you lift that lower back up? Lift your nose off the mat. Lift your forearms off the mat. Lift your elbows off the mat. Lift your chest off the mat and come back down. Nose, forearms, elbows, chest, all the way down. Nose, forearms, elbows, chest. If you're good here, extend, bend, and come back down. Lift the nose, forearms, elbows, chest, extend, bend, and down. One more time. Nose, forearms, elbows, chest, extend, bend, and down. And then from here, we're going to press ourselves back into that tabletop position and work on spine extension. So you bring your right leg back as you bring your left arm forward, come back down. Inhale as you lengthen, exhale as you return. Minding your hips staying level. So a lot of times when I'm teaching this, I'll see every variation. I'll see this, I'll see this. Try to find that complete balance of the pelvis. Let the inhale lengthen you. And then go ahead and lay onto the left side of your body. If you're okay here, in fact, let's all try this for a little bit. So in this instance, try is a good adjective for what I want. I want you to just sink and lift into and out of that shoulder. So what I'd love for you to feel is what's happening in there. So the next time you lift, can you maintain that? So we're working on keeping this active. Straighten both legs and just see how you're feeling today. I'm going to bend my bottom leg. The top leg is up, the hips are even. We're going to circle that top leg. If you notice yourself sinking, you could either pull yourself out of it, reverse the circle, or you can lay on your side. And then we're going to kick that top leg forward and point it back. If you'd like, add arm opposition. Watch to see if you're sinking or not. And relax all the way down. Knees are bent. Lift your feet and open and close that top leg. Bring both legs down, and your choice, I'm going to lay all the way down for this next one. Extend that top leg straight, bring it back, and you're going to bicycle that top leg 4 times in one direction. And reverse the bicycle 4 times in the other direction. And then flex forward and point back. Reach that top arm forward as your leg reaches back. And rest all the way down, no matter where you've chosen to be. So this time we're going to place our hands behind our head. Same thing, see if you could feel your shoulder blades pressing towards your back. Let's rephrase that, pressing down towards your hips. Lift your right elbow, turn your head, and roll back. Feel that right shoulder blade reaching towards the floor as you let yourself twist. As you're in this position, take a nice inhale. See if you can expand a little more into your body. And exhale, see if you can release a little more. And then unwind. And this time, reach your top arm forward. Reach it to the ceiling, and as you look at your arm, roll back. If you'd like, you can use that bottom hand to help you maintain the stabilization of your hips. And then come back. And from here, we're going to do a little strength test. So if this doesn't feel safe to you, do it with your knees bent. But I'd like to see if we can lift our hips up and hold this. Lift your arm up and come back down. So we're going to bend our knees and come to sitting. If you need to, you can grab a yoga block and sit on the yoga block so that it's a little easier for you to sit evenly onto the floor or the yoga block. And you should feel some action in the hip. And we're going to reach our, what's my right arm, your left arm, and we're going to lift up and over and bring that arm down and lace underneath you. Bring your hand down to the mat, so both hands are on the outside edges of the mat. We're going to do that cat-cow from here. As you exhale, find your cat. As you inhale, find your cow. And we're working through the lower back. It should feel therapeutic. And then roll back to your side and come up, and we'll switch sides. So we're going to start by switching just the legs, and then we'll go to laying on our side. So same thing, if you need it, you can use the block. If not, you can sit right here. And you're going to lift your arm up to the sky. So whatever leg is in front, the opposite arm comes up. You're going to lift up and over. Think of the ribs on this side reaching up. Feel the length on the other side, and then lace that arm underneath you. Nice inhale, exhale, release. Bring your hands so that they're on the wider edges of your mat, and do that cat-cow from here. So just letting the pelvis come down and lengthening forward. Exhale and curve. Inhale and lengthen. One more curve, come to the side and come up. If you like, take a counter stretch. And we're gonna lay on the other side. So same as we did on the other side, we're just gonna sink and lift and feel the movement in our shoulder girdle. So you can really find, a lot of us just sink into here, and that's where all those issues come in. If we can find that support and that stabilization under here, it helps a whole lot. But if it's painful, you can lay on your side and use something as a pillow, whatever works for you. Extend out that top leg and circle that foot 8 times. And reverse it. So if you notice, I'm not going too high up. I'm finding a nice even balance. And then we'll flex that foot forward and point that leg back, and it's your choice. I like using the arm. I feel like it's very helpful. The next time your leg goes back, let the arm reach front, feel the length. And right way, let's go ahead and do the 4 bicycles. I'm changing the order. 4 bicycles in one direction. And reverse it. And then the legs together, feet lift and lower that top knee, keeping your toes together. Notice if you sunk, I sunk, I'm lifting back up. And then rest all the way down. Hands behind your head, shoulder blades down, lift your top elbow up. Look at that elbow as you roll back. So we're really working on finding the way that we're moving our head, rotating into our spine as we look over that back shoulder. And then unwind. And your choice how you do this, but you're going to reach that top arm forward to the ceiling and start to roll back as you look over that hand. Unwind, and we're going to roll back to our backs and grab your foam roller. Hopefully it's nearby. And we're going to put our feet on the foam roller. So we're going to work on the bridging again. So look at your knees for a moment and make sure that they are hip width apart. So you should be able to fit like a softball between your knees. And then keep your gaze so that everything is neutral. If you put your hand under your neck, there should be a little space and you're at the apex of the base of your skull. And then we're going to lift the hips up as you reach your knees to the wall in front of you. If you'd like, you can kind of rock your feet back and forth on the roller, doing your best to keep those hips up. And then peel the spine down. Feel the massage in your back. And then peel back up again. And roll back down. And one more time, peel up. And roll down. And then take that roller and we're going to peel up again, but this time you're going to place the roller right under your sacrum. So here's the top of my hip bones. I'm pointing into them. Those are those hip bones that stick up, and the roller is right underneath them. We're going to lift both legs up and we're going to roll side to side. And if your hips are tight like mine have been, this actually feels like a nice deep tissue massage in the hips. So like we did earlier on the mat, but this time we're doing it on the roller. And then come center, place your feet into the mat, readjust that roller, it kind of slid down. Bring both feet up again. Just make sure that roller isn't in the small of your lower back. So this is where my lower back is. These are my hips. Reach your legs to the sky and just sort of like you're doing big, long walks with the legs. So you should feel those hamstrings start to open up. So I'm doing this with my toes pointed to start, And then I start to flex my feet, and I notice how much tighter my legs are when my feet are flexed. And you can play around with the positioning. And then if you'd like, bring them a little closer together as you lengthen up and down. And then heels together, toes apart, and bend and straighten those legs. Pressing those legs away. And one more. And then bring your toes together, heels apart, and heels together, toes apart as you come up and down. And then bend both knees and roll side to side again. And come back down, feet on the mat, lift your hips up, remove the roller. Bring your hands back behind your head. Bring your legs back into tabletop. As you exhale, lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Let your head rest into your hands. Inhale in this position, exhale, twist. Inhale together, exhale, twist. Inhale together, exhale, twist. Inhale together, exhale, twist. My hope is that you are feeling a lot of work in the abdominal area, but you're also letting your head rest into your hands. Nothing in the neck. This is all abs. Just a couple more. And then come in, rest your head and neck, hands on your shins, and let's simultaneously circle your knees outward. And then reverse it. And then bring both feet to the mat. If you have a strap or a circle, whatever you have that can help you stretch, you're going to put that at the ball of your foot on your right leg. You can start with your left knee bent just to make sure that you're not overdoing it. And whatever you're using, it's on the ball of your foot. You can just start by pointing and flexing that foot. Find a neutral position for that foot and pull the right hand down. As you pull your right hand down, that right big toe is reaching to the sky, and then switch. Pull your left hand down, pinky toe. So you're just pulling side to side. You should feel stretch in your calves, in your shins. And then extend your left leg if that feels okay to you. As you exhale, press your right leg into the circle or the strap and inhale, release. If you'd like, you can climb a little higher. Exhale and press. Inhale, release. One more time. Exhale and press. And just for fun, can you press and naturally lift your head, neck, and shoulders up? Inhale, release. Hold both edges of the strap with your left hand. Open your right hand to the right side. Keep your left hip into the floor. Feel the stretch in your inner thigh, maybe in your hamstring. And then as you exhale, bring that leg back center and just cross your leg enough that your right foot is right over your left hip bone on top. So your right hip is still into the floor. And then from here, bend your right knee to release the strap. Keep both shoulders on the floor as you pick your right leg up and bring it all the way up and over to the left side. Turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath. Feel your body expanding and unwinding a little more. And then roll back. Place both feet on the mat. I'm going to remind you again about those shoulder blades flat underneath you. Pick your right ankle up, cross it over your left thigh, and just windshield wiper that leg forward and back. Find so that leg is somewhat parallel to the wall in front of you and start rocking side to side. So as you do this, you only go as far as it feels okay to you. You can get that right foot all the way to the floor and it feels okay, stay there. Then as you exhale, come up. Walk your left foot a little more left as you let your right leg come down to the right and just stay there for a moment. If your lower back is popping up, you might want to readjust. And then come back, center. Keep that right ankle over your left thigh, and if you want to feel a deeper sensation, lift your head, neck, and shoulders and pick your left foot off the mat. Roll your head and neck back down and stay here for a moment. And if you're laying here saying, oh, this is not deep enough, just wrap your hands around your left shin. Staying here for a couple breaths. This is another one where you can stay here much longer than we're doing in the video. And if you like, tilt your legs an inch to the left. Just get a nice stretch in that right hip. Unwind and hold on to your left leg as you straighten your right leg to the floor. So if you're feeling super tight, you can keep that right leg bent. It really depends on how you're feeling today. Take the strap and put it in the ball of your foot and just stay here for a moment and start pulling your toes towards your belly button and then pushing them away. Keeping your strap as much onto the ball of the foot as you can. This exercise is easier if you're using the magic circle. And then find whatever position works for you as you push your leg into the strap and then inhale, release. Exhale, press your foot into the strap, inhale, release. And on the last one, press your foot into the strap and decide if it feels good to open up the head, neck, and shoulders. And then come back down. Hold both edges of the strap with your right hand as you open your left leg to the left side, keeping your right hip anchored into the mat. As you exhale, bring that leg back center and only cross that left leg so it's over the right hip. So you should be feeling that IT band. It might be real subtle. Bend your knees so you can remove the strap. Keep that leg about 90 degrees, keeping both shoulders on the mat. Cross that left leg to the right side. And then turn your head to look over your left shoulder. So every exercise that we've been doing addresses the neck and shoulders. Even though we're stretching our back and hips, you're still accessing, if you're in alignment, it should feel really good in the head, neck, and shoulders. Unwind, lay back, pick up your left ankle, cross it over your right thigh, and start windshield wipering side to side. And only go as far as it feels okay to you. If you're able to get that left foot to the floor, you can stay there for a moment. The only reason my hand is here so it helps me release into the hip. I'm not pushing, I'm just letting my leg rest into my hand. And then exhale, come back and let your right leg go to the right as you let your legs drop to the left. And just watch that we're not really popping up too high in that lower back. As you breathe, see if you can allow yourself to just relax. Let your body unwind. Unravel and bring your feet up. Cross your left ankle back over the right leg. Lift your right leg off the mat. If that's too deep, bring your foot back down. If it's not deep enough, wrap your hands around your right shin. And breathe and hold. See if you can allow the hip to open up. And tilt your legs an inch to the right. I'm hoping you're feeling an opening in the left side of your body. Same thing, I'm not pushing my leg, I'm just letting it rest into my hand. Unwind and let yourself find your way into happy baby. Letting your knees come to the floor by your armpits, maybe rocking a little side to side. One more time, wrapping your hands around your hamstrings, poke the toes to the wall in front of you to come up. And we're going to come back to our hands and knees with the foam roller. Before we do the quadricep stretch, let's work on kneeling cat. So what we're going to do is you're going to bring your forearms forward and your hips are over your knees, and let your head rest, and hopefully you're feeling a deep stretch in your chest and shoulders. If this is too much for you, don't do it. If you're able to and you can really find control as you exhale, you're going to lift up from your lower back all the way up to a kneeling position. And then drop your head as you roll forward, hands to the roller as you come forward and then come back up. So you can do that a few more times if you like, but we're going to finish up with our roller behind our knees, and we're going to come into a forearm plank. We're just going to roll from our hips to right above our knees. So if you're feeling this in your back, there's a good chance you're letting your back sag down. Can you feel your spine reaching towards the sky? You should feel a big stretch in your quadriceps. Nice massage. And then come up. And we're going to come into a downward facing dog. Let your head and neck go. Feel your shoulder blades reaching towards your hips. Can you allow your head and neck to shake yes and no? And then you can come all the way to standing. I'm going to sit back down so that I don't become headless. Take your time. Shift your weight towards your heels to come all the way up. Take your time. As you stand nice and tall, roll your shoulders into circles. Reverse the circles. Reach your shoulders towards your ears and drop. Just let them drop. Feel your shoulder blades pressing down as you feel like somebody just grabbed you by the ponytail and lifted your head up. Look to the right. If you're okay with it, you can add a little push into your left shoulder. Come center. Look to the left. Maybe push into the right shoulder. Come center. Lifting one ear to the sky. Feel a stretch in the side of your neck. Allow your jaw to relax. Look down at your armpit. Roll your chin center. Lift your head up. Lift your other ear to the sky. Look down at that armpit. Roll your chin center. Lift your head up. Inhale your hands above your head into Jai Mudra. Let your thumbs find their way to your third eye and to your heart. Gaze down at your fingertips, wishing you love, peace, joy, and wonderful good health always. Namaste.
And thank you very much. I'm going to turn off the camera.